Folks, it doesn't get any bigger than this. This is huge. And if it comes here, you'll remember it, believe me.
For me, it was probably the worst day of the year that we could have had a hurricane, because we didn't have the time to really prep the students, nor have the meetings on every floor where they get all of their personal information, what their personal evacuation plans are. None of that could be accomplished. So the town hall meeting probably stands out as one of those very first memorable events of having a packed house, and Scott doing a great job of telling everybody welcome and then moving on.
You know, we have this hurricane plan that says in the events of the Category 4 or 5, there's certain people stay on campus. And I was one of the people as president designated to do that.
It's bad, there's damage. We'll probably be closed a week or two, but this is manageable. Then, Tuesday morning, we woke up and the levees had broken. Basically, all hell was breaking loose.
It was over the course of Tuesday that the water reached us. So sitting on the steps in Riley, we just watched it come up the street and watched it get, higher and higher and higher.
It was, as water as far as I could see anywhere on campus. And that's when I knew we were in deep, deep trouble. Because when I saw all the water, I realized, first of all, I don't know when this water's going to get out of here, and then secondly, what damage it's done to the campus.
So I am the mother hen who leads the packs that have nowhere to go to safety in Jackson, Mississippi. We've done it twice now. But we left on Saturday with about 650 students and our football team, and went to Jackson, where a former colleague is president at Jackson State. Ended up 150 freshmen having their very first night of college on the gym floor of Jackson State University.
I was sort of recruited to the command center of the hospital because it was apparent that we were going to have to evacuate the hospital. The power grid had been knocked out, and who knows how long it would take. The hospital began making calls about moving particularly critically ill patients. Critical in that was to bring in a controller, someone that knows how to direct the helicopters when there were only a very few helicopters coming, maybe 5 or 6. So it was going to be a very slow process. It was hot as everything. It was exceeding 100 degrees in some of the rooms. By Wednesday evening, all of Tulane's critically ill patients had been evacuated. We had about 20 patients left in Tulane Hospital. So we've been able to evacuate a good deal between Tuesday and Wednesday. At the end of Thursday, we were able to evacuate all of the not a single Tulane patient died during that period.
There were 3 very key decisions we made pretty quickly in 48 hours, which, with the benefit of hindsight, turned out to be pretty good decisions. One was the idea that we would reopen in January of '06, even though we had absolutely no idea how we would do that. The second was that we would keep everybody on payroll as long as we could keep them on payroll. And then the third was to reach out to the higher education associations in America to see what we could do to make sure they could take our students for a semester.
Students didn't know what they were doing. Their parents didn't know what they were doing. Our faculty and staff, 6,000 people were scattered everywhere. 13,000 students scattered to the 4 winds. And we didn't have an office. We didn't have phones that worked.
It's about 6,000, between 6,000 and 7,000 undergraduates, and they were scattered throughout the country. I mean, they wound up going to over 600 schools, all 50 states and some foreign countries. We had no idea, one, who was in school somewhere. We had no idea whether they were taking one course or a full load of courses. We were charging them tuition at Tulane, but we had no idea who was paying the tuition at the host school, how the host school was treating the student, and how that student was going to be able to fit that into their curriculum, into their degree plan.
Clearly, our plan did not contemplate total loss of communication, total evacuation of the city, not alone our campus, but the entire city, and inaccessibility to the campus for 3 weeks. It was the end of the month. There were wire transfers, there were banking transactions that were suspended somewhere, and we needed to track them down. We knew we had cash or checks. It was in a vault, a safe that was underwater.
So we established an email address called asktu@Tulane, and then we probably got close to 8,000 emails from people in about 3 months. The first couple of hours we got 500.
We have learned lessons from that. Those lessons we can incorporate in who we are and what we do, and they're sustainable over time. They'll be as relevant 30 years from now as they are today. And things like the public service, I don't think that's going to go away 20 years from now or 30 years from now. Sure, it came out of Katrina. We have a big initiative now in public education. Those are significant societal issues that are sustainable over a long period of time.
All of us were working so hard to put it back together again, and that we were bound and determined to open for school in January, which we did.